Hello, Algebra 2. Happy December. So this is going to be Notes 41. It's factoring day number 1. So your essential question is, what are the steps to factor a trinomial with a leading coefficient? So I know there's a lot of fancy words there, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. You have no homework for tonight, but these notes for factoring, Notes 41, need to be uploaded to your digital workbook, okay? Okay. So this particular file, I had you access the week before we went on vacation. It is again available over on Google Classroom with this video. And this is the key to what we're going to be doing for factoring. So this is a very, very important sheet. You need to either have this printed out, or you can take a picture of it with your phone or take a picture of it on your Chromebook, but you really need to have this handy. So this lists all the different ways you can multiply for any given number up to 100. So for instance, right here's 24. Oops. Right here's 24. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different ways to multiply to 24. And so it makes it really quick and easy for our work to just reference this sheet instead of sitting there and trying to figure out. I mean, look at 84 over here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways to multiply to 84. So we don't want you to have to burn the brain cells on all of that. So I provide this nice sheet. So it's very important to have this sheet. Part of what we're going to do today is understand how to use this sheet, okay? So what we're going to do before you do anything is I want you to draw an X on your paper. And I want you to write at the top, multiplies 2, and at the bottom, adds, I guess I could use the word or after that, adds or subtracts 2. Okay? So the top number is it multiplies 2, and the bottom number is it adds or subtracts 2. Okay, the multiplies on the top, the add or subtract is on the bottom. And then we'll talk about the sides in just a minute, okay? But right now we're just talking about the top and the bottom of the X. And this is called a magic X. Okay, so make sure that on the top of your paper, Notes 41, day 1. And then if you can draw 4 of these, what we call magic X. If you can draw those. And then I want you to put these numbers, positive 10, positive 7. Now, where these numbers come from, I'm not explaining that today. We're just learning how to do the magic X. Next one's negative 10, positive 9. Another one will be negative 40, negative 41. And the last one will be negative 21 and positive 4. So what we're learning right now is just how to use the magic X. Pretty soon you'll have to know where these numbers come from, but not today. Okay, so I'm going to just draw one more X. Remember, what multiplies to 10 and what adds or subtracts, either way, to 7. So that's what I'm asking you. What multiplies to 10? And then you can go back to your sheet. What multiplies to 10? Well, here's your sheet for 10. Here's your 2 options. It says right here, I'll just write it out. 10 is either 10 times 1 or 5 times 2. And our magic X has a 10. What multiplies to 10? Well, 10 and 1 are 5 and 2. But out of those set, which adds or subtracts to 7? Well, that would be this one, wouldn't it? Isn't 5 plus 2 equal to 7? So we don't want 10 and 1. So we discard this option, and our option is positive 5 and positive 2 would add up to 7. So that's the numbers that is going to go here. Now, when you do that, I want you to put positive 5 right in the corner. And over here, I want you to put the positive 2 off a little bit, because later on, that's really important. Later on, let me change colors. We're going to fill this part in right in front. And so we need a little bit of space, okay? So what multiplies to 10? What multiplies to 10 and adds or subtracts to 7? So we're going to leave a little space. And the answer to that is, what multiplies to 10 and adds to 7 is positive 5 and positive 2. Okay, so let's do another one. And remember, I want you to leave a little bit of space. Sorry, I keep getting the wrong color here. So we're going to leave a little space, and we'll do the next problem together. What multiplies to negative 10? So 10 is equal to 10 times 1, but I need a negative 10, right? Or 5 times 2. So now I got to involve a negative. Out of those sets, which one could get us to a 9? 5 and 2, if we added it, it would be 7, right? Now just watch. 5 and 2 is 7. If we subtract, 5 minus 2 is 3. And now we're just going to start playing with signs. What if it was negative 5, positive 2? That would give us negative 3. So see, how come I'm playing with signs? Why is she playing with signs? Well, because I have to multiply to negative 10. So I need a negative involved. So 5 and 2 is not going to get us to a 9. That should be obvious to you. That one's not going to work. But 10 and 1, that could get us to a 9, couldn't it? So what kind of 10 and what kind of 1 gets us to a positive 9? That's the question. What kind of 10 and 1 gets us to positive 9? Well, it could either be positive 10 minus 1 is 10 minus 1, 9. That works. If you did it the other way, a negative 10 plus 1, that doesn't work. You should know that that equals negative 9, right? So we have to watch the signs here. You have to ask yourself, what kind of 10 and what kind of 1 gets us to where we're at? So it's the negatives that pose somewhat of some thought that you have to put in, okay? So if I use a positive 10 and a negative 1, let's put them in and see if it works. Positive 10, negative 1, and you do have to put the positive there, okay? And I'll show you that for later on for why these empty little green highlight boxes are there. So you have to put your sign in. So now just check. Is 10 times negative 1 10 times negative 1? Does that equal negative 10? Because it has to match this. It does. 10 times negative 1 is negative 10. Now check the bottom. It has to add or subtract to the bottom, right? So let's double check if that adds or subtracts up to that 9 that we need. So if we use positive 10, so 10 minus 1 is equal to positive 9. So cha-ching, that works. 10 minus 1 is 9. 10 times negative 1 is negative 10. So this is called the magic X. What multiplies to the top and adds or subtracts to the bottom. So let's look at the number 40. We need a negative 40. What numbers multiply to 40 and would add or subtract to 41? Okay, so I'm going to go back to my chart. Go to 40. Where's 40? Here it is. Out of all those options, so what is it? 20 times 2, 10 times 4, and 8 times 5. Those are all the ways to multiply to 40. And remember, we have a negative 40 on the top. So it multiplies to that, but adds or subtracts to 41. So what multiplies to 40 and gets this to 41? Well, if you added up 8 and 5, you'd get 13. If you subtracted them, 8 minus 5, you would get 3. If you add up 14 or 10 and 4, you get 14. If you subtract 10 minus 4, because remember down here is add or subtract, right? If you subtract 10 minus 4, you get 6. Well, I'm looking for negative 41. It's not this. 20 and 2 is 22, or if you subtract, it's 18. So wouldn't this get me to 41? 40 and 1 makes the bottom number 41. So what multiplies to 40? 4 times 1. What adds or subtracts to a 41? It would be this set. Not this one, or that one. Okay? So we need a 40 and a 1. Let me go back to the... Did I go the wrong way here? I did. Sorry. Hold on. So I need a 40 and a 1. What kind of 40 and what kind of 1 add up to negative 41? Adds up to negative 41 is negative 40 plus another negative 1 equal to negative 41. Yes, but Ms. Hartopher has a typo here, and I'm not going to restart this. This needs to be a positive 40. Sorry. Please change that. I had a typo. You need to have a positive 40 right here. Sorry. Got it? All right, you change that to a positive 40. So do these add up to negative 41? Yes, they do. Do these multiply to the top one, which is a positive 40? It does. So those are our numbers. Now remember, I need you to leave that space out in the fronts here. That's very important. That's the trick. So our numbers will be, let me just change colors. Negative 40, negative 40, and negative 1. They multiply. Negative 40 times negative 1 is positive 40. And they add up. Negative 40 plus one more negative would be negative 41. So that's the set that works. Multiplies to the top, adds or subtracts to the bottom. Okay, so what multiplies to 21 and gives us a 4? So we go back to our sheet. What multiplies to 21 and gets us to a 4? What multiplies to 21 and gets us to a 4? If you look at 21, here's our two options. What multiplies to 21? 21 times 1 or 7 times 3? Which one would get us to a 4? The 21 times 1 or the 7 times 3? Well, obviously that'll get you to a 4, right? Not this set. So we need to use some kind of 7 and 3. So we need a 7 and a 3. We need to multiply to a negative. So one has to be a positive and one has to be a negative. But I need to end up with positive 4. So would a positive 7 plus a negative 3, does that equal to positive 4 when you add them up? Is 7 minus 3 4? Yes, it is. So that's what we need. 7 minus 3 is 4. So it's going to be a space. Do not forget your space. Gotta remember. So we need a positive 7, a negative 3. 7 times negative 3 matches that. 7 times negative 3 is a negative 21. And down at the bottom, 7 minus 3, that equals the positive 4. Okay? All right, we're going to practice this more tomorrow. Please make sure you upload these notes to your digital workbook. And tomorrow we're going to actually go ahead and use these and add in this little extra step tomorrow for that highlight region. That is the whole trick. That'll be for tomorrow, okay? So please make sure you always leave a space. Thanks, you guys.